What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the number one comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing Ready to Love. This is season 7, episode 2. The episode is called Tickle My Pickle. But before we get started, for those who are new to my channel, I do reviews of reality shows. I do a detailed review. I might not do every single scene, but I try to pick up on important details and maybe some details that you miss. And as I just said, I am YouTube's number one commenter. So on this channel, it's all about those comments. I need those comments, what you think, what you didn't like, your thoughts, your opinions, going back and forth and all that. We welcome all that. The only thing I ask is that we be respectful to the people in the comments, because they're just not people. It's the Dub fam, our YouTube cousins. We just be respectful. We might not agree, but just be respectful to each other. So let's go ahead and get started with the review, so we can wrap this one on up. So the remaining singles on the show are having brunch, and what I can say, just from a day's time, they're pretty comfortable with each other. So that singles mixer must have went really well. And the leader Tommy shows up, and start talking about himself in the third person. You know how Tommy do. Tommy has a surprise for you. There are 4 more singles to join the party. There are 14. No, there's 14 singles, and there'll be 18 more. That kind of thing that Tommy do. You got to do his monologue. You got to sound important. You got to give it up for Tommy and his new suit and all that kind of stuff. But Tommy introduced the new pair of ladies first. The first lady was Cynthia. She reminds me of Morgan, and by the looks of it, Morgan felt some type of intimidation. She did a big swallow when she saw her and saying oh, she's beautiful and all that, and she is. So they remind me of each other. The other lady is Jonique, and she's 30 years old, and I would say, describing her, she's a fuller figure woman, as I would say. And I think that's a good idea, because it's not a great idea to try to have all model types or all women with the upgraded BBL or naturally or whatever the case may be. Everybody likes something different, so you could kind of switch it up. It's just that nobody really liked Dre. For the most part, most people don't like little short guys, like the height of their sons. So we got 2 more guys. It's Fabrice and Mark Anthony. Now Fabrice is 44, and you probably could add about 19 more years to that. He coming straight out the retirement home, and I'm like, what is going on? I thought they was playing. I thought it was a joke. In real life, what Tommy is, this is how 55 looks. He looks much older than Tommy. So I'm like, I don't know who granddaddy this is, but okay. I guess we got to roll with it. Why ain't y'all just put him in the beginning? He'd have got voted off the first time. But anyway, we got Mark Anthony. He's 34. He's a Haitian from New York. And the first conversation we got to, with the couples, I can't call them couples, with the singles. We have Mark Anthony. He sat down with Corvea. And Corvea said something pretty shocking. I really put Corvea at a higher standard. Of course, I don't know her, but that was my first impression. Corvea saying she's having trouble being ready to love, but she just can't love anybody because a lot of it has to do with finances. I'm like, did she just say that out loud? For real? And me and Mark Anthony was blown away. Is this real or whatever? But he saw through her game, and at this point, Corvea is saying she wants to be spoiled, and Mark Anthony said, well, you got to earn it. And she's like, well, do I really have to be spoiled? She flipped it on him. She gaslighting him about spoiling her. The man don't know you, so right out of the break, he's going to just lavish you with expensive gifts. Okay. In another world. It's the new world. Some women believe that. But anyway, we see Z. Now, she's working the room with the singles. And at this point, she's not having conversations anymore. She's interrogating the guys about who put her at the bottom. She is very worried. I guess she thought she was putting in her full effort, but the guys weren't feeling the same way. And at this point, nobody's going to start talking about the men's lounge or who put her at the bottom or who said what. So I'm like, Z, you're really going in the wrong direction if you're trying to connect or, go further in the show. Because at this point she's coming off like pretty salty. She's bothered, like, and if she was in her head before, she's way on her head right now. So let's go to the new guy, 64-year-old Fabrice, and he's really like first impression. He's a creep. Now I get it that he's in a room full of single ladies, young available women. They're beautiful, and he's excited. But at this point, he's doing way too much, and he even sat down with the super spiritual Jeffrey. And why I put emphasis on super spiritual, a couple of the Dub fan got on me like, oh, listen, a woman can be super spiritual and had 3 kids by 3 different baby daddies, and they not the father be around, and she just got herself together at a certain time. And I'm like, yeah, it's just the thing that when I hear super spiritual, I hear somebody who's devoted into their faith, what that is, and their direction. And I didn't get that, especially from this conversation, because the conversation that her and Freaky Fabrice is having is more so she's letting them know that Jeffrey's letting him know that, hey, I got a Japanese tattoo on my back. And Fabrice is like, yeah, I got one too. So, if you want to, maybe see it later or whatever, she's like, huh. She covering her mouth and telling him, no, I'm not supposed to see your tattoo. You're supposed to see mine. It doesn't come off very super spiritual, but I'm not judging, but I'm here to do the review and give my opinion. So I don't get that super spiritual vibe, but let's keep going if we can. So, we got a group date going on. It's for the 2 ladies, and it's more like a panel of guys, of 6 guys. And as far as like the women handling themselves, I like the way Cynthia carried herself. If she was more so being open and saying that she doesn't really have a type of man. It's more so she's looking at the personality. Of course, she wants an attractive man, and so be it, but that's not her focus. She wants a guy who she can vibe with and connect with. And I thought that was really, it went well. Now, curly top Andre with the little curl hanging down, it would seem like this on this episode, this Ready Love was his segment. He was very involved, and I don't know if it's more so like a foreign thing or whatever the case may be, but he asked like some awkward questions. So like, he'll give you a face with it. So do you like light skinned men or do you like dark skinned men? Do you like regular eyes or do you like these eyes? I'm like for real, this is where you get this from. And then like when I see him, it makes me think of just like how men and women do it. But I'm gonna say in this case, we talking about a man, how women will kind of look past a whole lot of red flags and flaws because they're attracted to someone. And Andre is this case. Like, this guy has no conversation. He making corny jokes. He giving laughs and all that kind of stuff going on. Like, he don't have no substance. Like, and the women are flocking, whether it's on the screen or off the screen. They loving Andre, even with the little curl. So, as I said, is it foreign or is it corny ball? I don't know. But hey, he's feeling Cynthia, and I understand that because yes, her speaking like that or coming from that perspective is attractive. So we go to the other new lady, Jonique. I'll say she's how can I describe her? She's a less refined woman. She got the baby hairs down to her eyebrows and everything. I thought we left that in 2023, but I guess I'm not on the committee to say what goes in and out of 2023. So, but Jonique is like on Andre's vibe. Well, she comes right out. She like dark skinned men, and she like a guy who carried 2 guns. No, she didn't say that, but she give me that vibe. So anyway, they done with the little meet and greet for the 2 ladies, and they call it a date with 6 guys and 2 women. So we go to a one-on-one date, and this is with New York Tony, and he takes Marcia out, who's 34 plus 9, and she's a fashion designer. Watching those 2 reminded me of like two salesmen trying to butter each other up to close a deal, and I just wasn't convinced by their attraction. They seem to be very into each other, but it just didn't seem organic or natural or whatever you want to call it. So let's just go on to the other date. They convince, so should we. So the other date is Blake and Z. And with this date, this probably is one of the most horrible, cringiest, painful date you ever see on Ready to Love. Now, back when I was talking about like a guy that women are attracted to that have no substance, this is another perfect example. Blake is like is nothing there. I know he's not attracted to Z, but you can see that his personality isn't so much to be desired. But at this point, Z has been interrogating the guys about putting her on the bottom. Blake turns around and interrogates her about like who she is, like who are you, what do you like, what are you about. And I get it, Z was thrown off by that and it didn't fare well with her because she felt the interrogation. It wasn't a conversation now. And Blake just felt like he had to do that because that's the type of personality he has. I said pompous, arrogant, and that made sense to him. I'm going to pull this out of her. I'm going to make her tell me who she is. And even when Z answered his questions, it still wasn't good enough. She was like, I'm a type of person that's really close to my mom. No. I don't want to know about your mom. I want to know about you. What do you like? Do you like blueberries in your pancakes? Do you like to take long walks on the beach? Like, it's ridiculous. And like the women on the screen, off the screen, are loving Blake. And I just don't see it. I'm not a woman. I'm not supposed to. But the guy has a personality of a potato. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm like, can y'all please get these people some to-go boxes so they can get away from each other? Because I don't want to see this no more on my screen. So, I'm talking about this super horrible date. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, we have to introduce the new guys to the ladies. They have to do their little panel of 6 ladies or whatever. Of course, the new guys are Fabrice, the guy from the retirement home, and Mark Anthony. And my take on Mark Anthony, I think he handled the panel well. Like he was kind of laid back. He answered the question, showed his personality, and let the ladies come to him. So it was a good flow, and someone was feeling him. He wasn't doing too much. Now, Freaky Fabrice, he was doing something way over the top. He wanted to let the ladies know, like, hey, I come from Paris, and I used to work for Giorgio Armani. We have lots and lots of sex. So if you don't have good sex, what's the point of it all? And in Paris, we are sexy. And when you have sex, you should have sex. And I'm like, come on now. Like, this guy is 64 years old and he can't read the room. Like, the ladies are pretty much disgusted and turned off that he keep talking about sex. Like, that's all he talking about. That's all he want. And in Fabrice's confessional, we learned that he does this on purpose to like bring shock to a woman, like to kind of throw it in her face and talk about sex just to see where she at and see how far he can get with her. And at this old age, he feels like it works for him, and it doesn't. But not all the ladies are disgusted like we all are. Sue-Ann, the 39-year-old attorney, she's kind of feeling Freaky Fabrice. She even opens up about, how she wasn't experienced as she's young, but now she's more horny and wants to do it and all. And Fabrice is like, yeah, I got me one. And she's not the only one. Surprisingly, Sweet Mercedes, the flight attendant, is feeling it because he's speaking French to her. I'm like, boy, these women, I guess it's somebody for everybody. So if you like 64-year-old Freaky Fabrice, fine. French make your bunny ears go up, so be it. And he had the nerve to say, you got to understand what things come about to tickle your pickle. Like, that's why they named this episode Tickle Your Pickle. I got to take a breath for that. So it's time for the men to deliberate, because this is the men's time to send one woman home. And the guys' lounge is now in a church. They got to find anywhere they can. And people are kind of surprised that, they got a bar set up inside a church. And it looks like a club. And this is not like a foreign thing in this country, because a lot of churches have gone out of business and people are taking advantage of the spaces. Like they actually do have clubs and lounges as well as gun stores in actual old churches. So I know it looks strange, but people need the commercial real estate. So Tommy gives the disclaimer, now, so whatever's done here in the men's lounge stays in the men's lounge. But we know that's not going to happen. There's always a guy who's going to run back and tell what happened in the men's lounge because, truth be told, a lot of guys are bigger gossipers than women, and if they can get one leg up by having information, they're going to do it. So pretty much to cut to the chase, some of the top ladies are Morgan, of course. She's a shining star of the group. Mercedes, I can see it. I haven't really got much from that. And even Jeffrey. And the bottom ladies are Corvea. After that gold digging conversation, I see her totally different, so I get it. Z, who's been in her second consecutive elimination round. Nobody's surprised. But I was really surprised that Freaky Fabrice wasn't feeling Jeffrey because she actually engaged into some sexual conversation with him. So I guess that didn't go over well. So before they close out the guys' lounge, Tommy has to let the people know that, I got some surprises. I got a curveball. And with this, I got really confused about it. From what I understood is that he's offering, like, you can throw a lady a lifeline, but all y'all got to vote for, but you only can do it one time. Drop down in the comments if you can break down Tommy's curveball and help me out with that, because I really don't understand, so I can't even help y'all understand or explain it. So as far as the 2 elimination dates, we got Lyndon. He invites Corvea out. I'm like, why? Ready to Love is just ready for drama because they know these 2 people absolutely are like oil and water. They don't get along, and it's just a bad idea for them to go on a date. And what I saw in this date, Lyndon really took advantage of the fact that he was holding the cards and almost convincing Corvea that, like, hey, like, you should be okay with me having a roommate, and you shouldn't say it's not what you want. You should say I don't like it. And Corvea's going along like, okay, I appreciate that and all that. But I mean, like I said, he took full advantage of the situation. Even when letting her know if she was ready to love, he just like held her in suspense. Like, the guy said that we are, and Corvea like, oh my God, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? He played too much. And he lets her know that she is still ready to love or whatever, and he still want to get a look at her when she walk away, even though the lady hates his guts and think he a scrub or whatever. So we go to the date with Z and Blake. Why are they on a date again? But Z is suspicious, as she should be. But I know they tell them that, like, they may go out with somebody who may eliminate them. So, I don't know the inner workings where they say, well, you just go on a date with whoever we tell you to. But again, Blake is totally a dud. I know he's not attracted to this lady, but he has no personality. But what I did like, I can say one positive thing about Blake. He really let Z down in a very nice way, very softly, very respectful way, and just let her know that she wasn't ready to love because the guys felt that she wasn't vulnerable enough, and he even apologized to her for it and asked for a hug. So I like that. He accomplished the mission. Tommy said, like, hey, you never know when is your day, so be respectful. Let the ladies down easy. So other than that, that was it for the episode. Drop down in the comments. Tell me what you think. Something I missed, something you want to add. And let's get down in those comments and see what we got. And as I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.